So you may or may not have seen the video before this one because Xavier found a better tier list. This one is in chronological order from Dragon Ball all the way to Super, and we can rate and put where we want to have stuff. I'm just going to go through the list and kind of explain myself. Let's go. So the entire Emperor Pilaf saga for Dragon Ball. A lot of this I'm basing on the ability to rewatch, and this is a slog. We're putting it C for sure. The first tournament saga that we have in Dragon Ball, I'm actually going to go ahead and put as a B. It's really good to rewatch. It's not bad. I don't hate it. This is the first Red Ribbon Army saga. We're going to go ahead and put this as a C, but I'm going to put it above Pilaf. The General Blue saga, I don't really feel like it was long enough to be its own thing. We're going to try to keep this close, but I will make a separation for the Commander Red saga and put this above in a B, because by the time you get to that point, you're engaged. It's a lot better. And this is the point after where Goku's going on his little training bench before the next tournament, the 22nd, with Baba. So we're actually going to put this above Pilaf as well, because I feel like of these, it goes from hard to rewatch, watchable, very watchable, and it gets better like that. The Tien Shinhan saga, which is the 22nd tournament, we're gonna go ahead and put actually above the first World Tournament saga. King Piccolo will be my first A for Dragon Ball, because it gets a little bit more into the really gritty martial arts that I kind of come to love from the Z series. I know a lot of people like the whimsy and the wonder of Dragon Ball. I'm just not one of those people, unfortunately. I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball, I grew up with Z. So as a result, I like more things that I find in Z than Dragon Ball. Everybody has their own preference though. That's why we're looking at everybody's different tier list, because I'm sure other people have this thing completely skewed to certain. The Piccolo Jr. saga, which is the end of Dragon Ball, I think it was a great saga. We're gonna actually put this in A tier above the King Piccolo saga. Part of it is I'm a sucker for happy endings, and unlike the King Piccolo saga where we do defeat the villain, it's just, you know, Krillin died, Roshi died. It was just really rough times, bro. Really rough time. The world was in dire straits. Goku straight up fights that 1v1 with Piccolo and does his thing. So it's just a lot. It's just and it's the end of the series. It just you come out feeling a lot better from that one. And we have the initial Raditz appearance of the Saiyan saga. I like that this list splits the Saiyan saga into two parts, because I feel like it's so much to encapsulate. You shouldn't have all that in one arc. That's why I've looked for. This is my third tier list, by the way, that I've done, and I've re-recorded this 3 times. The first 2, I just really didn't like the list because all of Namek they just did as Frieza saga. So you're literally doing Land on Namek and all those fucking filler episodes as Frieza. You're doing Ginyu Force as Frieza. You're doing Dodoria and Zarbon as Frieza. No, split that. So this is a lot better of a tier list. I think this is my favorite one so far, which I'll have the link to this one in the comments if you want to make your own, and just link in the comments so you guys can argue amongst yourselves. That's fine. The original Raditz run. It is the pilot for Z. There are a lot of highs, but the pacing I feel is really slow upon rewatch. And that's might just because I know what's going to happen, but something about better writing. Some arcs are they're just better to rewatch, and it's just not one of them. It's not a D by any means. It's a C, but it's a high C, definitely a high C. Now, the second half of the Saiyan saga, top of A easily. It's so much better in arc. There's so many lows because so many characters die, but the stakes at this point have never been higher. Krillin was gonna stab Vegeta through the chest. All right, enough said, dude. Like it gets good. It gets really, really good. Then we have the intro to the Namek arc. It's a lot of Krillin Gohan, which I think is great. A lot of synergy there. It establishes like the terror that Frieza inflicts on people. Everybody is just strong as fuck on Namek, because the thing about like the Saiyan saga, it's like, okay, these Cybermen are pretty strong. Then you got Nappa, who's literally just able to tank any damage, and Vegeta's just insanely strong out of this way. They completely squash Vegeta's power level when they start introducing characters like Dodoria, who's just killing Namek villager after Namek villager. Zarbon, who's a punks Vegeta once he transforms. It opens the whole universe up a little bit. We're gonna put this arc at a B, but a high B as well. And this is the Ginyu saga. This is really good when Goku actually gets off the ship, but even if before that, Vegeta versus Recoome, great. I actually have a video on my Patreon where I go over the whole fight with no cuts. I think if you're a $2 patron, you get access to that video. I would check that out. We're gonna put this at the top of B tier as well. Honestly, God, it's hard. I think there is a lot to put this in A. I think, you know what? I'm actually, I'm actually okay with that right there. I'm trying to remember specific moments that, nah, dude, between Goku's encounter with Jason Birder, just showing up so powerful after all that training. The great thing about that arc, they show Goku training in the 100, his working his way up to 100 times gravity. And it's just never been a training segment as good, done as well. And it's sci-fi, but it's almost so believable because you can see him progress. Progression is important. He's not just stepping in there at some arbitrary number. It's unified. It's really good. Then we get to the main final form Frieza. So we're just gonna treat it from all the way from when they start to summon the dragon and Frieza beats the shit out of Nail all the way to the end of the Frieza saga. That's what this is encompassing. And we're gonna go ahead and put this as an S. That's our first S of the series, and I don't regret it at all. Garlic Jr. filler. A lot of people hate this. I don't hate it, but you gotta compare it to everything else that we've gotten so far. And it's just weak. It's just a little flat. If you watch World's Strongest or Dead Zone, I think it's Dead Zone, and then go into this filler directly, you might get some enjoyment out of there. I just think it's just so weak in comparison to everything else we've gotten. I would feel bad if I put this above Pilaf. Honestly, even OG Dragon Ball Pilaf, which I said was like kind of hard to rewatch, I have a harder time watching Garlic Jr. to be honest. He's just such an unlikable character, and not like in a professional wrestler heel way. He's just so like, get him off my screen. Like, get evil Pilaf off my screen, dude. Anyway, then we got the Future Trunks saga. This is great because it opens up so much of like what's possible in the universe. There's so much mystery with Trunks upon first viewing, and upon second viewing, you're almost excited to see if there's anything you might have missed, any hints that were thrown or stuff like that. It's such a good time. It's such a good setup. Toriyama was very experimental here, and it just happened to work out. We're gonna go ahead and put this at a high B, and then we're gonna get into the Android saga. This I'm very biased on. High A on Android saga, because I actually remember the little DVD I had that included like 12 episodes of the Android saga, and I would just watch that over and over and over again, and it's just one of my favorite arcs. The stakes are so serious. Like, Goku has this heart condition, and it's like it's one thing. Goku's a character we've seen like straight up die before, right? But something about him just being bedridden and unable, and then Trunks talking about in his universe he dies from that heart disease and stuff like that, and the androids are just looking for Goku. Where's Goku? We need to kill. It's like this straight up just, we're just gonna go kill Goku. It's like, and when you think about who's able to actually protect him, nobody. Because there was that big bit where they had Tien, Vegeta, Piccolo all face off against the androids and just systematically get destroyed. Trunks' sword gets broken on Android 18's like wrist and stuff. Some of the most intense fight scenes. It's just beautiful writing, I think, because the stakes once again have been raised. Then we got Semi-Perfect Cell. This is great too. God, don't crucify me for this, but yeah, they're hand in hand. I feel hand in hand. It's all fire here. It's all fire, because when Semi-Perfect Cell shows up, it just changes everything, dude. The concept of like, oh, now we have to protect the androids. It's a thing. It's like, these were our enemies like 5 minutes ago. Cell shows up on the island and completely changes the game plan. It's like, we either got to destroy these things or keep them away from his grasp so he doesn't get perfect. He gets more power. God. And we got the initial transformation for Cell. We get a lot of pop-offs like Super Vegeta. When I was younger, I really loved this arc. I loved when Trunks and Vegeta came out of the time chamber. They're just super arrogant, super strong. But upon rewatch, it is so terrible to sit through. Trunks holding back, Vegeta being super arrogant, letting Cell transform. It's frustrating. Still a very good arc, and once Cell is transformed, he is probably the most charismatic villain, bar none. The fact that he is a amalgam of all of the characters we've met at this point, I think they got a lot out of it. It'd be criminal to put this any lower than B, but I don't think it quite, that little bit, I don't think it goes above A. There's like some great pop-off moments that I personally have special attachment to, like the final flash where Vegeta goads him to eating like probably one of the strongest blasts in the series at that point. Trunks getting his form where he unleashes himself, legendary Super Saiyan form, I think. Oh no, it's God, what is it? What's the official? Somebody in the comment, tell me the official name for that again, because I know it's Super Vegeta, but is it Super Trunks in the video games? I don't know what the official form name is though. What is that, like Super Saiyan Grade 2? I think it's like Grade 2. They call it Grade 2. It's not like Super Saiyan 2, but it's Super Saiyan Grade 2, or Ascended Super Saiyan. something like that. Anyway, and obviously the first, second S tier is going to be the Gohan Cell Games saga. I don't even feel like I need to explain this one. I don't put it above the Frieza arc, but it's very good and it's very rewatchable. I'll tell you, because I used to rewatch it like every 2 weeks. Let's see. This is Goku versus Pikkon in Otherworld. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I kind of just want to slap that in B, right, and be done with it. I don't think anybody would argue with me on that one. Like the Pikkon fight Goku is just, that's the whole arc, right? Everything else is kind of just like world building, which is great and I love and appreciate, but it's just, you know, it's just there. Great Saiyaman arc. If you're a fan of the Great Saiyaman, kudos to you. This is your arc. This is definitely something for you. For me, I'm gonna put this low C. This is the first thing that's gonna be below the Pilaf saga, and I don't feel bad about it. I like seeing the characters with like progression, and it's good to have Gohan have his own antics and his own thing going on. It just, the stakes aren't there. It's just, it's a completely different thing. It's almost like Dragon Ball became like a teenage Marvel comic thing production. If you treat it like an actual like coming of age superhero story, and while you watch it, it's actually not terrible. There's a lot of stuff there. It's just not greater than anything else. World Tournament Saga with Supreme Kai. This is before they awaken Boo. So you get Gohan versus Dabura. Oh god, you get that horrible thing where Videl just gets mauled. Oh geez, that's a rough watch. A lot of cool things come out of here. A lot of mystery with Shin when he first shows up. Supreme Kai. I'm torn. This one's very difficult to place. A lot of callbacks here. I see. Fight me about it. And Majin Buu Saga. There's a lot of beautiful things that come out of the Buu Saga. Like between Hercule, Bee, and Buu, there's probably one of the most beautiful scenes about humanity that was just subtly written. And I feel like it's glossed over a lot because there's so much bullshit. There's so much bullshit when Boo first wakes up. God, Fat Boo was a terror though. We're gonna put this in the middle of B tier because it's kind of what you expect from Dragon Ball at that point, but it doesn't surprise me or like it doesn't wow me upon rewatch or anything. I have to get a close look at that thing at the bottom. Oh, the Fusion Saga. That's when Goten first challenges Boo. We're gonna go ahead and put the Fusion Saga. I'm happy with this. We put the Fusion Saga in B, which causes me to move down the Otherworld Saga, and I don't feel bad about it. Kid Boo, I think it easily makes it to top of A tier. He's a fucking menace. He's a terror. And what is it? We got End of Z, the original End of Z. I think this was a very special little saga, even though it only encompasses like what, 4 episodes. We're still gonna put it on A. It's one of those world building sagas that it's not a slog. It's good to rewatch, and it's good to see the potential that was going into GT originally. And a lot of times I've treated it like a standalone, like GT never existed, because I was one of those people who did hate it. Now with maturity comes with acceptance, and with acceptance you can accept what GT was attempting to do. It just never hit properly. Especially not in the States, because they hit us with the Grand Tour intro. That definitely didn't help things. Welcome to the Grand. I almost did it. Anyway, Black Star, Dragon Ball. That's when they start going between planets, and you got so much Pan. There is so much Pan. Ugh, I'm not even thinking about that one. The Baby Saga, that's actually a mid B. I'm not going to put it above the beginning of Namek, but I will put it above Future Trunks' arrival. Because Baby is actually a terror. He actually is the first villain in a long time you're scared for, like, if people are gonna be okay. He takes over people's bodies, right? That's unseen territory since it just hasn't been done. So the unknown nature of him and the fact that he caused so much terror, he got so much done. It could have been game over there with that one villain. He's that terrifying. Super 17. I've said what I said in the previous video on this one. I just don't like that stuff. They didn't need to kill Krillin, bro. A couple things. A couple cool things came out of it. I just didn't think it was amazing. And then the Shadow Dragon Saga. This I feel like it's okay to put at like middle of A. I don't want to put it above the Saiyan Saga. I'd probably put it after King Piccolo, but before end of. There's a lot of cool shit that comes out of Shadow Dragon. It's just a lot of shitty shit that isn't Shadow Dragon that takes up so much time. Because we got to remember it's still GT at that point. All right, and God of Destruction, Beerus Saga of Super. I think this is actually Super's one of their weakest arcs in Super. It's by no means bad. I'd probably put it like right next to Radix because I get the same feeling when I rewatch. It's like, oh, this is important because it establishes the rest of Super, but it's not amazing on its own. So it's like, okay. Unlike Raditz, we get something out of it in a form of like Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God is also one of my least favorite forms because it doesn't draw from the user's power. It's like a communal thing. You need like multiple Saiyans to channel in some sort of mantra to make the power happen. I have never liked that about that it's a seance rather than an actual thing you work towards. I've always hated power-ups that were gifted or granted or wished for, a la superhero. Golden Frieza Saga. I actually don't feel bad about putting this above. This is actually an A tier in my opinion. It's a low A tier for sure. And I think Super just has a hard time getting put ahead of a lot of older stuff just because I have a preference for that Namek Saga, Frieza Saga, Android Saga animation, musical scores, the way characters are drawn, motivations, just combat. They don't throw hands the same no more. That's what it is. The Universe 6 Saga, I'm actually going to put as a low B. There's a lot of cool fights that happen. Ultra Instinct Kaioken. Not Ultra Instinct Kaioken, I mean Super Saiyan God Blue Kaioken. Goku and Hit, their first rivalry was interesting. The time skip premise was super cool. The thumb things that weigh it down are stupid filler where they just write Goku terribly. The whole thing, Goku wants to fight Minoka more than he wants to fight the other universe. It's just such character regression. Copy Vegeta, we're actually gonna put this as a low D. It's one of my least favorite freaking arcs. Super Trunks, Future Trunks Super. You get Black Goku, you get Zamasu. They tried a lot of cool things. I feel like Toriyama always uses Trunks to try new shit out, and I am all for it. This actually does put it above a lot of stuff for me. I think I'd put it above my initial viewing of the King Piccolo saga, just because they went there. They killed Bulma in the future. Mai was thought to be dead and stuff like that. They tried stuff. I mean, Trunks, even with a relationship with Mai, it's just like a whole lot of trying shit. Let's try Evil Goku out. Let's try a Supreme Kai that's evil out. Let's just see what happened. And that's what I think it was all about at that point. It wasn't super safe, but it wasn't so far off or so intangible that it was. I don't know. I feel like if they did more of that in Super, it would be a good product for sure. Let's see. Universe Survival. You get Ultra Instinct out of this. Enough said. Enough said. This is a high A. Not quite a Z, but high A. Not quite an S, I mean. Dragon Ball Super Broly. It's kind of unfair to put a movie so high because it's so little to compare it to, but it's going to be S. And here's why this is difficult, right? That Frieza saga encompasses at least 45 episodes, right? Think about it. Maybe less. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Like 30 episodes right there. Because this is going to accompany all the way from the fact they wish for the dragon. That means Vegeta versus Frieza, Vegeta versus Gohan, Vegeta versus Krillin. Krillin thought to be dead. Piccolo coming in, fighting Frieza, getting his ass whipped by Frieza. Frieza powering up yet again, mollywopping Piccolo, Dende healing everybody, Frieza killing Dende, Frieza killing Vegeta, Goku showing up and fighting Frieza. Super Saiyan versus Frieza. It's a lot of fights there. So there's a lot of room for stuff to detract from it. Same thing with that Gohan Cell arc. There's a lot of Cell Jr. nonsense that we have to sit through, right? Before we get to Gohan transform. It's a big slog. If all my rewatchers, let me know, isn't that shit a slog in Cell Saga? It's a slog when Cell starts pooping out Cell Juniors, bro. It's not interesting. It's interesting when Gohan kills them. Yeah, but like sitting through that is crazy. Broly is a movie, cinematic experience. It's one shot. You get some of the coolest fights and you don't have none of the slog. It's really hard to compare those two mediums. So obviously it would be an S. All right, this is manga material, I believe. Galactic Patrol Saga. I read, but I can't rate it in comparison to other stuff because there's no anime adaptation. So I'm gonna put it under didn't read, but I'm just gonna call it doesn't apply because it's not fair to just compare manga stuff that has never been animated to everything else that's just been animated. Honestly, I should probably take the movies off too, but it's too late. But since Superhero did get a movie, it actually does get eligible to get placed. So we'll put Superhero at middle of B. I already told you how I felt about transformations that were given or wished for. Piccolo, come on, bruh. I'm glad it did something for Piccolo, but I don't know why it had to be something he had to wish for to unlock his potential. No way. This is the same individual who was stated to be able to go against go against Frieza if he was just Kami and Piccolo together. I wholeheartedly believe through all his training he could have probably unlocked a form like that himself, a transformation or something like that. I hate that it was something he had to wish for, and it really takes away from the movie. Gohan himself unlocking Beast was just like, a snap and he unlocked it. And it's just like, it was always there. This is what pulled it out for him though. This is what gave him the form. I'm happy about the form. It was great. And it was a good movie. It could have been done better. Just a couple things could have been done better. All in all, I said my piece on this. This is my tier list. Anything to say, negative or positive, let me know in the comments. If you want more videos like this, let me know. But other than that, enjoy the rest of your day.